Hi guys, my name's Ellie. Welcome to my channel. My nose ring is, as always, not centered. And I'm feeling motivated, so I'm trying to film all of it before I'm not motivated. This is video 3 of today that I don't know what order you're going to get them in, but yes, they are all on the same day. They are in varying stages of makeup and changes, and we are in the same spot of my room, but things are different. I move things around. The little bookshelf that I was filming on top of is now over against that wall. The desk that was over there is now underneath the camera. That bookshelf was what used to be right here, and things are different. Everything's in a different spot, other than this bookshelf, because I don't want to move it, and also it's literally, my mom made it specifically for that section of the wall. It fits exactly in a little, like, divot spot. It's perfect. So yes, everything is different. Everything has been moved around, and I want to talk to you about palettes that are not quite right. I've been kind of wanting to do this more. I want to talk more about what's already in my collection, as opposed to feeling tempted to buy new things, to do new reviews. I want to discuss what I already have, and since I was motivated to do the top 5 basic bitch or office appropriate palettes, eyeshadow palettes, by oh my god, Teresa is Dead and Smoky Lips and Fat Hips, I also saw some things while I was rifling through to pull those out that I wanted to talk about. These are palettes that are just missing a little something, and it's kind of different for all of them. So let's get started. Let's go with this one. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3. And it's very neutral, which is fine. What I wish is that there was just a little bit more difference, because a lot of these shades, though they look a little different in the pan, are really, really similar on the eyes. I don't think we need both of these. They're both quite light, and yes, one's kind of white and one's kind of taupe, but they end up looking really similar on the eyes. And you can kind of see in this section, yeah, there's slight differences, but they're all so shiny that you really kind of need this one and then neither of these. This darker brown I like, this more taupey mid-toned I like, the matte I like, but I really just kind of wish they'd kept it neutral, because I'm fine with a neutral palette. Just push that difference between some of the shades a little more. I wish they'd done one that's a little bit more gold, one that's a little bit more, just slightly more different, because as it is, they look kind of different, but a lot of them perform pretty much the same. And if they had kind of knocked one or two out, made maybe a darker matte in there, just tweak it a little bit. Push that variance between the shadows a little further out, and it would have been like a fantastic neutral go-to palette. As is, it's something that I at some point will pan, but I'll get a lot of the same looks out of it. I won't have as much variety as you could have while keeping it true to theme of neutral and, I guess, beachy, but a little bit more bronze, a little bit more gold, a little just take it from being like this close together to being like that close together, if that makes sense to anybody. So, really close, could have been a fantastic go-to daily neutral palette, doesn't quite hit the mark. Let's go with this one. This is the Urban Decay After Dark palette. I'm going to pop the brush out, and I like it. I really, really do. I think it's very, very close. What I would like, I want this brown to be a matte. I want it to be a matte dark brown, because we don't really need a mid-tone shimmery brown, especially with the other colors here. And with this one, since it is duochrome, if you pack it on the outer corner, it ends up looking pretty much brown, because it is a duochrome kind of shift. When it's on that outer corner of the eye with the curvature, it ends up looking brown. So that makes it kind of redundant to have another matte brown down here, and I think this one, I think Backfire could have been swapped out for like a mid-tone crease shadow, and Druggy could be a little lighter. Because if you did that, you have so many more possibilities, because a lot of these are really, really gorgeous, and they make this nice, like, kind of like water, like muted rainbow. So we've got, you know, a red, we've got a gold, we've got a green, we've got a blue. Make that like more of a slightly lighter purple, more like not quite as light as Tonic, but getting there. We've got a gold, and it could be really, really nice, and this could be a standalone palette if they just shifted it in, gave us two mattes. Honestly, like, this shadow, it just doesn't do much for me. It's not a bad shadow, but it's not really dark enough to play well with, like, the gold or the peach. It's not really light enough to play with these two. You end up with a really... Yes, Riley? Come here. You're just gonna mope? I can't give you any attention if you stay all the way over there. And I'm filming. So, I just think a couple tweaks in here would really have made this a much more useful palette. Not that an all shimmer palette is not something people can use, and not that it's not easy to pull out some mattes and pair it with this, but if you'd thrown those in, I think a lot more people would have really picked this up, and it would have been their new, like, color but toned down. I hear you, but you're not giving me anything to work with. And I think, especially with these two being so close in tone, there's not a need for both of them. There's not a need for this, and take those out. You have, you know, the rainbow, but much more approachable, much more, you know, people see the rainbow palettes and they like them, but very few people are wearing them day to day. And I know, I'm wearing like an orange and a red and a lot is happening, but this is not what I'd normally wear to the office, and most people have... What? You're walking right by me. Most people have dress code restrictions for their day-to-day life. A lot of people have restrictions on what they can wear to their jobs, and all of these colors are things that I would be fine wearing to my office job. And I would like to use this more, but since I have to pair something with it, and I do have these shades that kind of annoy me when I open it up, I'm not reaching as much as I could. And I think it's almost there. It's almost a great palette. Very, very similar situation is the Nabla Dreamy palette. It looks gorgeous. It really, really does. It's got a really nice color story that I would like to use more. And I love the mattes in here, and I like the colors that they picked for the shimmers, but the shimmers don't work without something extra under them. I remember from trying to do a review and from trying to do a 1 month 1 palette that they just don't stick. It's not even that they apply and then they fade. They just don't adhere to my lids, despite the fact that I have a primer on, without like a glitter glue or a cream shadow base. So I really, really like it. And then, with that being said, even if the shimmers adhered and wore like some of the other formulas I like better, I need something a little extra. I don't think we need both of these shades. Like, I understand they shift differently, but very few people are using this pressed glitter very often, and I think you could have gotten that same color shift in a shimmer formula and made this like a really dark, smoky purple. Because we have a dark brown, but even then it's more of a mid-toned brown. Like, it's not like deep, deep, and it could have been a little more dimensional. As it is, a lot of these are mid-toned. Mid-toned shimmers, mid-toned mattes, and a light. And another light. It could have been a little bit more. And I am still very sad because I have a single from Nabla that is just fine. It's a shimmer and it adheres and works and wears perfectly. So I don't know what the difference between the formula they chose for the palettes and what they use on the singles, what the difference is, but I've also heard that from other people that these singles have a very different formula than the palettes, and since I've had the singles longer than the palettes, I don't get it, but it's not just me. So I would love to love this palette, but I don't. And at some point, I will pan it, because a lot of these are gorgeous. What? What do you want? My cat is just walking around the house, meowing mournfully, like nobody loves her, but is not coming over here to get pets. And I know she has food because I just fed her, and she doesn't want to go outside because she just came in from outside. She's just whining, which she's been doing. So I like these. I like a lot of the colors they chose, and I will use it up at some point, but I don't think I'm going to buy any other Nabla palettes. Even if I can swatch them in store, because they're carried, some of them are carried at Ulta now, but like these swatched fine, they just didn't adhere, and there's no good way to test that without purchasing. Or having somebody else buy it and me playing with their item. So, I like the packaging, I like the color story, I think it could be a little bit more dimensional, and I wish the formula worked for me. All the formula. The mattes work just fine. The mattes are lovely, which is what's going to get me through trying to pan a palette where I don't like some of the shimmers. Dragon Child. This is a little bit petty, because this is not something that is for sale anymore. Menagerie Cosmetics, when they changed over to Menagerie Cosmetics, they dropped this because this palette, the Dragon Child palette, has the Makeup Monster's name on it, which is not the brand name anymore. I think it's a really cool color story. I really, really like it. The mattes are lovely. The shimmers don't play quite well. I think these are redundant, and I think one of those could have been dropped out and could have made for a darker shimmer, because the shimmers, this formula, though gorgeous, does not blend into the mattes very well. They mix weird. So if I'm going to do a look with this, and staying just in here, they do have enough dimension. They have light and dark colors. They have some more approachable colors. I want a dark shimmer, so I can do a lid that is shimmer into shimmer, with the space where the two are kind of, the matte and the shimmer formula are meeting is in the crease, which is a lot easier to hide, whereas having a mainly matte look and a shimmer either on the inner corner or on the inner half of the lid with a matte on the outer half has given me trouble. They have not played well together. So I really like the mattes. I do like the shimmers. I do not like them trying to blend across. I really wish one of these purples had been dropped out to make room for a darker shimmer that could play well with those and kind of make the overall look a little different. Which, that very well might be what she's doing, because this palette has been discontinued, and she is coming out with I think it's a bearded dragon palette, so it might end up very different. It's not like this is still for sale, but I wish. And honestly, if I wanted to, I could pop these out and I could put something else in here, which I very well might when I acquire some more palettes from her. That might be something that happens, is that this gets used in conjunction with others. Just like I might have to use a darker shimmer from another palette next time I play with this, because of all the trouble I've had trying to blend her shimmer formula onto her matte formula. But other than that, I do really like it. Packaging is quite cool too. And now, the biggest disappointment. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Volume 5 Bronze Seduction. I really wanted to love this palette because it's over $100 fucking dollars, and I bought it. And the things I like in here, I fucking love. Like, these two glitters, gorgeous. This gold, fucking gorgeous. These two mattes, stunning. They work so fucking well together. But the things in here that don't work, really don't work. They just won't, no matter what tip or trick I have. So like, the shimmers in here, they don't apply well for me, but I can make them work with a glitter shadow, or a glitter glue, or a cream shadow underneath. That doesn't work for the shadows in here that don't work, which is also really fucking frustrating, because for over $100, all of these better fucking be amazing. And this red, which is gorgeous, and I like this. I have a dupe of it in a different formula that I can make work that I love. This red does not work. It does not work on its own. It does not work over a glitter glue. It does not work over a cream shadow. It is too oily to work at all on my lids. So I don't know what type of eyelid you would have that would be dry enough to suck up the oil out of that formula and allow the pigment to lay properly and to wear and not crease. Like, this is the kind of thing, like, it's not that it creases throughout the day or it fades throughout the day. It's, you put it on, you blink, and it's creased. It's already fucked. And this glitter, this gorgeous rose gold glitter, does not work. No matter what I put underneath of it, it does not stay all day. It also, it's like there's some disconnect between the base pigment and the glitter itself. And the base pigment will stay there, but then the glitter will shift and settle into lines and crease no matter what I put it over. Like, what the fuck? I know you have a good formula because you used it for the rest of the shades. I know you have a good formula for shimmers because you used it on the other ones. So what the fuck happened here? What did you do? And if you had a good, like a really, like this is a really good formula for the other glitters, why the fuck would you mess with it to make two trash shadows? Like, this is fucking gorgeous. It applies gorgeously. It does not need a glitter glue. It does not need additional adhesive. It just sticks where you put it with a brush with no extra steps. These are stunning and gorgeous. And then, this could be gorgeous, but it just doesn't work. It does not work. And I want it to because it could be so pretty. It could be so gorgeous. Like, just make this whatever this formula was. And if you can't get it on that formula, make it the formula of the gold, because the gold formula is also really good. Just make it whatever that formula was. I don't know why you messed with the binders or found some extra weird new pigment that just doesn't work in your formula. I'm still mad. This is something I bought a long time ago, and I used it, and I got mad, and then I set it aside to wait to not be mad again, and I'm still mad because you have proof that you have a good formula. If it was every shadow in here, I'd be like, fine, so I just don't like Pat McGrath's formula. That's fine. No, I like one of your formulas. I just don't know how to tell what they are because they're not labeled. It's not like it came with a list of the shadows and you're like, oh, this is glitter 2, this is shimmer 1, this is shimmer 2, and I like shimmer 2 but not shimmer 1. There's no way to test whether or not I like the formula she picked in any palette before buying it, before putting it on my eyes and realizing how many of the ones don't work. Yeah, apparently I'm still very mad. Okay. Because that's a very expensive palette, and I know some of the formula is good, so why did you change it? And that's one of the ones where other people I've seen have also had issues with this palette, so it's not just, oh, maybe my eyes are weird, maybe my combination of products is just not good. Something is different in the formula between the same, what should be the same formula. If your glitter shadow formula is fantastic, it should be the same formula across all of your glitter shadows. If your shimmer formula is good, it should be the same across all of them. But for some reason, Pat McGrath didn't do that. and I don't know why. And I don't know why. It's not like, oh, this is an older formula in these older palettes, and then I reformulated, made new palettes. This is in the same palette. That means the formula should have been the same at release. I don't get it. I don't know how these made it through testing with them being so different in performance. Because, yeah, maybe there's something with the pigments, and the pigments just don't work with the binders or whatever that she has. But that should have been something found in testing. When you tested the glitter and the rose gold and the regular gold side by side, you should have noticed that something was different with them, and you should have not gone through with the one that didn't perform the same. But they made it all the way through to production and sales floor and are still being sold with that big of a gap in ability to function. Okay, I'm stopping myself because I'm just going to sit here bitching about that palette. So it's almost. I like it. I like the overall color story. I like the packaging. It's very sturdy. It's very bougie. It feels like an art piece. I really wish it either was just that solid black packaging, which is cool looking, or it was the packaging on the outer box, because the outer box packaging is also gorgeous, but it's disposable. It's throwaway packaging. Most people don't keep that. And I would like to be able to use all the shadows in there because they are gorgeous, but it won't stay like that on my lid. No matter what I put it on, it won't stay that way. And if I had access to use all the shadows in there the way I want to and have them wear the same, I would love that packaging. Nope. I would love the packaging. I would love the cardboard packaging to be reflected on the actual box, because it's gorgeous, and just get that art on acrylic on the box. I would love that. But also I would love to be able to use the palette, all of the palette. So now I'm all worked up. I started out kind of like a little grapey, and now I got real mad because I keep forgetting how mad I am about the fact that I spent over $100 on that palette and I can't use all of it. Not even oh, well, I don't use the darks as much as I could because you don't need as much product. No, there's 2 shadows in there I legit can't fucking use because they just wreck a look within the first 10 minutes. They fail. It's not like, oh, I can wear it for put it on, go out for a dinner or something for an hour or two, and it only has to last that long. It just immediately wrecks the whole look. So now that I've complained, that's all I brought. So those are my top 5 almost palettes. Almost great. Almost fantastic. Almost a holy grail. Almost a usable product. As you can see, the light is changing quite a bit. Apparently we are getting a thunderstorm that I did not plan for, and I have to go edit these so that we can actually get videos up on my channel. Apparently it's been long enough that the coffee's worn off. So I'm going to go and get these edited and posted. Thank you all for coming in. Let me know what palettes you have that are almost great for you, and what types of things you would like to see changed in palettes, because I always like to know. Maybe somebody else absolutely loves the different things. Maybe somebody else has a different opinion that might change something. Sometimes I talk to people about things and somebody says some things and it allows my perception of something to change in a way that makes me less mad. If you can make me less mad about this palette, please do, because I like the parts I really, really like. So mad about those 2 shades. Maybe one of these days I'll rip them out and put something else in there so I can be happy when I open it up and look at it, because I'm not reminded of the 2 shades that I hate. Maybe. I'm not confident in my abilities to not damage something I love in there, though. So, thank you all for watching. I will see you next time, and let me know down in the comments, because I'm going to try to do better about actually responding to them. Because I've been not great about filming, or editing, or responding. I just apparently am going through a phase. We'll see what happens. I changed my room. Maybe that'll help. I like it. I like the new room. I like the setup. I threw out a lot of stuff. Like, so much stuff. You know how you just, like, start accumulating things? You're like, oh, I'm gonna need that for something. Oh, let me set that aside. I'll figure out where I'm putting it in a second. And then it just stays. I threw out so much of that stuff. And I decluttered a lot of books. I have a huge pile that are gonna get either put in those little, like, mobile free libraries. Some of them getting donated to my local library. Some of them are going to secondhand stores. I'm gonna have some friends come over and pick through what they want, see if there's any books. I know there's some books, some, like, military, like, World War I and II books that I'm probably gonna give to the boyfriend because he likes war histories, like battle histories and stuff like that. So he might like them. I read them for a class and I didn't retain any of it, and yeah. So we're trying. We're filming things. Now we just gotta edit them and get them up. And I will see you guys next time.